Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Aris and today we are continuing our discussion about the Samyang 35mm f2.8 and more specifically we are going to discuss about the pros and the cons of this lens and how to use it in the field. Let's start with a discussion about the lens. I'm going to talk about all the individual features of the lens and then I'm going to give you the pros and the cons of each one of them. And in the end, I'm going to give you my overall opinion about how it is to use this particular lens. We're not doing obviously an unboxing. If you want to watch an unboxing of this particular lens, I'm linking the video up here where I have done this in the past at some point, I can't remember. It's been a few months now. Yeah, I've never got the chance to discuss about the lens and the features of this particular lens in depth. Let's start with the build quality. How does it feel in your own hands? Let me tell you that actually the build of the lens is quite good. You do have some metallic elements in the lens and then some plastic elements, which is basically here in the focus wheel. It has this nice little red line that goes across the whole lens that it's nice to look at actually. I do like it. And then we have this very small lens cap in the front and a very tiny lens hood, which is this one, which doesn't really make much sense. So let me tell you about the pros. The pros of the build of the lens is that it's very small, it's very compact. You can put it in front of your camera, especially if you have any Sony mirrorless camera, and you will have a very small, nice, compact setup that you can use to do your street photography, because this lens is mainly for street photography. I have used it for other types of photography, such as portrait photography. If you want to watch this video again, it will be the link up here. And it has performed okay. It's not a terrible result. It was an okay result. So I would definitely consider it for street photography if I wanted to go incognito, if I wanted to have a small setup that would be hardly noticed. Now, one negative thing that I would like it to be different is the lens hood, because it barely has any lens hood. So as I said before, yeah, the lens hood is just this small thingy here that it doesn't make any difference. And I'm going to explain why this is a bad thing in just a little bit when I'm going to give you some results about some specific type of images. Let's go to the second thing I want to discuss about this lens is the autofocus, because many people might wonder, you know, is it focusing very well? Is it hunting? What's going on? I didn't have any problems. So basically I have shot with it both during a day and during the night, and I never really had problems with the camera, with this particular lens, hunting for focusing. Probably you know I prefer flexible spot focusing system, and usually with this one I never really have a problem. Also, I have used this lens a lot during my vlogs, especially when I'm shooting the indoors parts of my vlogs, and I never really had a problem. There in my indoors parts I'm usually putting zone focusing or wide focusing, and usually it's absolutely fine. It finds my face very fast and focuses on me very fast, and I never really have a problem. Obviously, having the Sony a7 III or the Sony 6400, which also has a great focus system, helps a lot, but the combination of this lens with the a7 III or the a6400 gives very nice results in terms of the autofocus. Let's talk now about the aperture. This lens can go down to f2.8, which means that you can get a little bit of autofocus backgrounds, especially when you're close to your subject, but you're not gonna get these dreamy autofocus, very creamy backgrounds. If you want something like that, if you want to get this type of backgrounds, you have to go in other lenses that can go down to 1.8 or even 1.4. And then again, still with these lenses, you will have to go much closer to your subjects to get these creamy backgrounds. However, obviously, when you're shooting with an with a 35mm lens, you're not really going for the bokeh, you're not going for the close-ups, you're going for the more wide scenes, the scenes that you're going to use the lights and the shadows and stuff like that, especially when you're shooting street photography. Now, when we're talking about night conditions, it does gather enough light to give you decent images, images with not a lot of grain in them. However, again, if you had a faster lens, 1.8, 1.4 and stuff like that, you will get more light in your sensor, and thus you will have less grain. The grain is not a much problem. It is only when you want to crop into your photo, then you're gonna start seeing a lot of grain and stuff like that. All in all, for the price of the lens, because let's not forget that this is a cheap lens, for the price of this particular lens, the features, the f2.8 and the quality you get is quite good. And having said that, now let's go straight to the image quality. What kind of images can you get with this lens and how do they look? Now let's talk about the image quality. Truth is, you can actually get very nice images with this particular lens, nice and sharp, especially when you're shooting in higher apertures like 5.6. Now if you're dropping your aperture down to f2.8, then you will start seeing that your images look a little bit soft. Obviously, when you're shooting wide, it won't be very obvious. You will have to zoom in a lot, you will have to crop in a lot to start seeing it. But it's something that I have noticed and I have to say it. Also, the other thing I have to say, which can be good or can be bad, is that when you're shooting directly against the sun, then the image completely washes out. And this comes back to what I said before about the build quality and about the fact that it doesn't have a lens hood. Because it doesn't have a lens hood, it cannot stop the glare from the sun, and thus the glare from the sun completely washes out your photos. Now, why I said it can be good? It can be good if you want to use it creatively. You can use it creatively, you can use it in a way that although it washes out your photo, this washing out of the photo adds to the final image. And this is something I did during my photo walk, and you can see this result here. All in all, I have to say that the quality of the pictures though was good, and I did enjoy taking pictures with this particular lens. I did enjoy using it for street photography. And also another big plus, another big thing that you need to consider is that the price of the lens. You're not paying £800 to buy this lens. You're not paying £1,600 to buy this lens. You're paying at the moment on Amazon, as I can see here, £220 to buy this lens. So for this particular price, the quality of the photos, the quality of this particular lens is really good. So for me, this lens is recommended for street photography.